Hey, good morning. It is Guido, and welcome to Coffee Talk, the world's premier World of Tanks podcast. There it is. I branded it.
There we go. Good
and
morning,
I am here
Mr.
with Pilgrim, and I can point in the direction Pilgrim is, and it's correct.
Yeah. There, look. It works. It's Pilgrim in the UK with his tea in a coffee mug bought from Guido. Look at this.
Well, you started quickly with that, didn't you? Right off the ramp, you're right into.
I've got to earn my dollars. You're paying me some good money for this.
That's true. I'll Venmo that $1.50 over to you in a little while.
Thank you.
His name is actually A Pilgrim in Discord right now. So A Pilgrim, and that was a hot tip from one of you guys, one of our Discord experts, and it apparently goes alphabetically. So it swapped where we both sit on the screen, which now when I look at this screen or when I look at this other screen where Pilgrim is, I can actually I can look right at him.
Yeah, we can say hello and, all that.
All right.
Instead of looking over there.
That's right. All right. That was a lot about that. All right, channel news. I'm still healthy and hunkered down. How about you, Pilgrim?
Yeah, we're starting a big phase on Monday where shops are opening back up again, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, excellent!
See where that goes.
We had both pubs. Well, the pub I usually go to opened up, so we went there on Thursday, and then Saturday we have a new brewery in town that we went to their opening, their grand opening. That was actually pretty cool, and they actually make some pretty good beer. Had a couple nice IPAs, so that was really cool.
Yeah, that's a big fashion come over here as well, IPA beer. So that's interesting. I mean, I don't drink, but when you get a big brand coming across like that, then why not? Try it.
Yeah, when I was visiting a couple of years back in Birkenhead, there was a brewery that was opened up by some Scots, and they had been expats living abroad for a long time and had come back to the UK, and for whatever reason, I don't know why they ended up in Birkenhead. I'm sure they told me. But I'd had a couple pints, so who knows? But it was kind of down in the shipping area there in Birkenhead.
Oh, on the docks.
On the docks, yeah. So they were in a big industrial place, and they had some great beer, really fantastic, nice people sat in there.
How long did it take for you to get mugged when you went to Birkenhead? Because
we went down the daylight.
It's full of people like that.
I had multiple Scousers with me, so it was fine. Hey, look.
Oh, you're okay.
No, see, here's why I was safe, because that's where the working people are. I was on the docks. None of them are going to be anywhere near the daggum docks where they work.
Amazing, absolutely.
I am sure right now some British people are especially Liverpudlians or people from Birkenhead are listening to me. They're probably like, "Shut your mouth, Yankee."
Well, I'll tell you for now. And they will agree with me. If you cross the River Mersey, you end up being in Wales. It's as simple as that. That's an extension of Wales across the Mersey. They're all sheep shaggers.
The world might as well be Wales as far as they're concerned.
Yeah, if you go across the Mersey, it's all Wales. So they're all Welsh over there.
You got to go a little further. I'm pretty familiar with that area actually. I can definitely get around in that area. It's pretty cool.
It's to be fair, now it's been revamped and everything. A lot of money gone into it, so it's a good night out. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean you're right though. You can definitely find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Absolutely, It's scary. It's scary for a local. I mean, I'm from that area, and it's scary for me. There's places I wouldn't go.
Yeah. We stay into the daylight and stuff like like the opposite of vampires, I guess.
Very brave.
All right. Intros, man, we haven't got very far. Still working the 100 Battle Challenge. I took a couple more tanks up to 100. Should be some videos on that. Next stream should be tomorrow. I actually missed last week's Monday because I had something come up. So I'm expecting Monday on Stack Up from 4 to 6. That's tomorrow Central Time. And then I think my next day off is Friday, depending on how it goes. I may stream a little bit Wednesday, depending. My wife's having some surgery, so I have a couple days off. But I may be playing doctor on that, or nurse, I suppose. Hopefully I'm not the doctor, because I don't want to have to do the cutting. That would suck.
Especially not to the wife. She'll just batter you if you get it wrong,
No, little cancer stuff on the face. So,
well, prayers are in.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Tier 7 contest. So we talked about this, didn't we, Pilgrim? And we thought about maybe letting you know who's going to win the tanks at the beginning, but we're not going to do that. You have to watch the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Pilgrim said something cheeky like, well, what if they just fast forward? And
Scroll to the end.
I'm like, nobody's going to do that. Come on.
No, they'll watch the whole thing because it's such an interesting thing to watch.
All right, so here's my story on this, Pilgrim. I sat down and I was thinking, how are we going to do this contest? Okay. How are we going to pick it? We have 32 people that have entered, and I said, how are we going to figure out which of the 32 win prize 1, which will be a tier 8 plus $50 to stack up in your name and $50 to the charity of your choice in your name, donated by Pilgrim himself. Fantastic. A tier
stuff.
8 tank from Wargaming.
Yep.
And 2 tier 6s, so there'll be 4 winners. Yep. So I sat down, I started thinking about it, and you and I had talked about pulling something out of the hat. And I started, getting my yellow sticky out and drawing numbers on it. And then I was like, I'm going to have to cut these up. And I said, you know what?
That's difficult for a commissioned officer, isn't it?
What about the internet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get 21st century here.
Why? I bet there's a random number generator on the internet. And you know what, folks? You know what, folks? There is. Check this out. Pilgrim won't be able to see it. There it is.
I can't see it.
You just put in RNG. I actually typed it out, random number generator. You could put in RNG generator, but that's kind of redundant. And then you put the numbers, the min, the max. And so we can I'm going to click generate. 29, 16, check it out. 15,
wow.
22. So, all right, this is going to be way too easy, right, folks?
Yeah, I could just see something failing dramatically. And we'll have to go and edit it and go back and get a hat.
It's the magic of the internet, man. The magic. So we'll do that. We're going to do that at the end with the RNG generator, the random number generator. Remember, Guido grind is my code. We're just going to leave that one there. We'll just leave it. I
can't. The image. It kills me every time you say it. It really does.
Let's just be glad it's not Guido twerk.
Oh no! Okay, so or in a merkin.
Twerking in a merkin. That's someone's actual name. Okay, here we go. We're going to get onto the page. We're going to go to the news page. If you want to follow along there. And, all right, first things second. We have DDay XP weekend and missions. That is ongoing. You click on that. We have several missions. We'll look at that in the UI as well. But be in the top 10 XP. There are some camos involved here. And I think you can get them for 2 or 3 of the days. It started on Friday, so I think you can get quite a few of those. I believe those are daily. We'll have to look in the UI, but I think they are. Crush the Foe gives some emblems, so camos and emblems, and then once you can do the 30,000 XP, and that requires the 6 shell tokens, guys. So most of you have probably already done this, but remember, when you open up that Overlord mission and it's got 30,000 XP that's going to get dumped on something, the tank you play is the one it gets dumped on. So I don't pay much attention to that anymore, so it just happens, but for people who are grinding it, that's going to require a little bit of thought.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it gets dumped on something you don't need it dumped on.
Well, that happened to me. That happened to me. I just noticed this morning. I looked. I thought, oh, I've done the Overlord mission. What did I do that on? And I think it was the 430, and I didn't want it on the 430 at all.
Oh yeah, man, because you need to grind to a tier 11.
Well, I've got the 430 already. So.
Oh, I thought that was the US grind to tier 11 right there.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll look at that in UI. Next thing is what's next. All right, so Michael, you've changed. Where's the duck?
He has, hasn't he?
Where's the duck? Look, I have a duck.
Yeah, where's the duck?
I have a duck
yes, exactly. Where's the duck? I don't have a duck. I haven't met Michael.
Sad duck. This is actually given to me by Michael at DDay Conneaut. Okay, we discussed this a little bit. We're just gonna leave it. Some of our discussion. Good information. At the end of this video is a code. I don't remember what it gave. Do you remember what it gave, Pilgrim?
I don't know. I know there was a code at the end of it.
It was some goodies, but I don't remember what it was. Anyway, go to the end. Actually, let me see if I can just play it here real quick. I'll get you to the code. I'll turn the sound down.
But they're doing it in every episode, aren't they?
There it is. Watch What's Next 06201. So you can see it on my screen right there. That's the code. Put that in the code deal, and I wonder if it says what you get. She's pointing at it. Doesn't really say what it is. Yeah, she may have talked about it. Oh, is it the Patriot rental? Maybe it's the Patriot rental.
Oh, that was it. And Patriot rental, wasn't it?
Did it give anything else, did it give anything else, or was that it?
There was something else with it. It was a Patriot rental and something else. Probably XP or something like that. Yeah. But they're going to do it every episode. So every episode they do, there's going to be a code you can get off it.
Okay. Well, there you go. And she talks about what's coming up and going on and all that stuff. She's been involved with the World Tanks since 2013 or so. Not necessarily as an employee, but back and forth doing various things. Big gamer, all that good stuff. So good on her. Good luck to What's Next, which is then taking over for, what was Michael's called?
Oh, gosh. That was so memorable as well, isn't it? I just remember him. He was dapper. I liked him.
Remember those good old days when that awesome show that we can't remember was called?
Yeah, that one. that show that strikes a chord.
Yes. We're so. It's such a.
It's probably a case of the star outshines the show. So everybody remembers Michael.
Oh, nobody remembers the name. The Michael Lovin Show. The Michael Lovin.
Yeah, that's what we can call it.
You know when I don't know if you remember when Meathead left and Michael took over.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? There was all the bring Meathead back and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the forums today. Actually, I bet there's a bunch of
bring Michael back.
Yeah. All right. So What's Next is here. That's cool. So good information there. Of course, our show's better, but I mean, look at us.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at these two old guys. I mean, just awesome.
Oh yeah. The Muppet Show.
All right, two old guys in the balcony. Progressive decals become an ace. All right. Interesting on these. These are, well, I'll get to that in a minute. These are decals that you can put on your tanks, and they change as you do, we'll call them missions, or you accomplish things. And they've got some details here. It looks like there's 5 of them. Battle Hardened, Reaper, Sharp Sword, Stand as One, Tank Ace. There are 5 difficulty levels on 2 of them, 3 difficulty levels on 3 of them, so they change. There are pictures here, if you will go down to the bottom of this, and you can see, and the decals look like they're the kind that you can make larger and smaller. There are some of those that you can do that.
Yeah, you can make it a big, huge thing on the tank.
And so you can see, you can just click on these and you see a bunch of different pictures of these things. So, what are the missions? We have destroy vehicles, play a certain number of battles.
Yeah. No info on how many, just a certain number.
Oh, right. I sort of assumed it was because there was 5 levels, it would only take 5 battles, but I bet it's a lot more than that. I didn't think about that. So who knows what it is? 5 for each level, 10, 15, increasing difficulty of numbers, I have no idea. Earn a number of top guns. That's actually pretty cool, all right? Yeah. I've always wanted, I wish in the stats there was the number of top guns you had in a tank.
Yeah, no, that would be very good. Because it would show. Yeah, it would.
Is there? I guess if you click on the tank individually, you can see that, can't you? In the stats.
Yeah. If you go into the stats, if you go into World Tank stats.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Wish granted, just like that, out of the blue. Brothers in Arms. So there's different difficulty levels. Now here's what I thought was interesting, and it's not a big thing, but you can see the decals too. So you go down and it says how to interact with new decals, which is a weird word to use.
Yeah.
But they use interact. So it says you can do this with any vehicle, with the exception of the following partner vehicles with unmodifiable custom looks, which makes sense because those are under contract. And so you've got the King Tiger Captured, the KV2 Valhallan thing, the Fury, and the Pretty Fly primary style, which makes sense. So you can't add anything to those anyway. That's how it works right now. And then so they break these out, and then a little bit further down, if you notice, it again says progressive customization decals aren't available for the following vehicles as they have unmodifiable custom looks. Then you can expand, and there's a whole bunch more.
Oh yeah, look at that lot.
Why are they not just Why are they not all just together?
Yeah, why have they split that into two?
Right.
Ah,
I don't,
yeah.
what?
Why? Yeah. Why have you got two separate lists
I
telling
mean,
you the same thing?
is it a big deal? No, but somebody had to actually sit down and create this content for their website. And I've read it.
Yeah.
I have spent way more time on this than I should have. Let me just put that
Yeah,
up
yeah.
front because it bothered me. I'm trying to figure out because I felt like there was something different between the two groups of tanks.
Well, that's immediately what you, if looking at it, you would go, okay, so there's a set rule that applies just to those tanks, and then another rule that applies. No, it's all the same.
Right.
Right.
Well,
So
all I can
I don't
come down to is that the five above are partner vehicles with unmodifiable custom looks, and the ones below are custom looks vehicles with custom looks.
Right. Okay. Well, that then sort of makes sense because, like Pretty Fly, there's been an agreement with the band that would be that style.
But there's no difference effectively in what you can do to it with the decal. That's what.
Oh no, absolutely not. You don't need to split it like that. I guess. I mean,
Anyway.
who are they? Okay.
We spent a lot of time on that we
All right.
it just I don't get it. What's going on with that?
You can top and tail this whole thing. Is that the blurb that they had to come out with somewhere in all that script is you will install fear into your enemies by showing them the decal on your tank. I am going to be so scared when I see tanks coming towards me with these decals.
Man, especially if they make it like a big one.
Oh yeah,
That
it'd be worse than the magical teeth. I can tell you.
oh come on, nothing's. Dude, when Monty comes grinning for you, you won't think that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it was weird. So the heavies, mediums, and TD missions are back. Remember, you've got to. Oh, wait, these are by now. Sorry, where's the? What the heck? I thought this was my. Anyway, the codes for the heavies, mediums, TDs, and lights, which I clearly cannot find right now. Make sure you put your.
Yeah, no, they're not showing them. It's all about buy now. As soon as you click on that now.
Yeah, I thought that's where they. Oh, tank university missions a little further down. There it is.
Yeah.
All right, so make sure you go in there. I'll click on that. There you go. So activate your light, medium, heavy, and TD missions. We got the customization. Tank rewards has switched back over, so it started on the 3rd. Make sure you're doing that. Tankrewards.com. And I'm going to say this every time, especially if we get new people. Go to tankrewards.com. It will be tracking your missions. Remember, you have to log in, and then you can accept your goodies. Good news is our Canadian brothers up north, who are veterans, are now getting that extra mission. For me, I play one game, I get 200 points a day. It's awesome. It's a little more work for people who don't have the ID Me veteran bonus thing going on.
But it's achievable. It's not,
Sure.
It's not out of reach. It's just, it's what it is.
Absolutely. All right, so we got Tanks and Aces. Tanks and Aces. Where did that? There it is. All right, this is that mission that was for South America, I think, a month or two back, and accidentally got turned on for us. And how they, I guess it was on the South American server. That's how they did that.
Yeah, Jambian was the guy who was heading that, wasn't he? Yeah.
So whether it was ever meant to come to us or not, maybe that fortuitous mistake helped us out because now we have it. And there's a couple things to understand about it. The first one is it's destroying German tanks. So you've got to do that. And you have to be in a Soviet tier 6 to 10 vehicle. There's two versions of this. One is just, what's it called? Battle as the USSR. So any tier 4, to 10 vehicle.
Tier 4, I was going to say it's from tier 4 upwards, isn't it?
Any tier 4 to tier 10. And it's confusing because it says you must not be in any of the following tanks. But if you go down, those same following tanks are a separate special mission.
I know. Just how to confuse things.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see, all right, you can appreciate the premiums. You can say, okay, T-3485M shouldn't be in one of those. The Rudy, maybe the shielded. But then you start to look at it, T-34, T-28, T-3485.
Here's an interesting question. If I play the Rudy as Czechoslovakian, will it work?
Hey, there's a good point.
Is that what it was? Is it Czech or Soviet? Are those the two
Well,
choices? I think so.
Well, the Rudy is that not Polish?
Polish. Sorry, Polish.
Yeah.
You're right, Polish, not Czech.
I don't know.
So if I have it set as Polish, will it trip the mission? I may have to test that just for giggles. I did play the 34 Shielded once this morning just to get my 200 points right before we did this.
Right.
And to start working on that mission a little bit. But there's actually some pretty good goodies. If you go back up to the top, there's lots of large kits.
Yeah.
And you've got to 5 tokens, which is basically killing German tanks. Bizarrely, I played quite a bit this weekend. I've only killed like 3 German tanks the whole weekend. Have they gone into hiding?
Nobody's playing German tanks.
Is it 19? What is it? Is it March of 1945, and there just aren't any left?
There's none left.
Yeah, I can't find any of them. Let's see. You can get a day of premium account. You can get some personal reserves. That's very nice. Are any credits? Of course not. Just XP crew. A garage slot, and then a medium caliber tank gun rammer. Now here's the cool thing. Here's the cool thing. Kind of similar stuff for if you're playing just as the special tanks. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom, here's what I did not notice. Did you notice this part at the very bottom?
I've just come to it now.
Where it says tanks and medals top rewards?
Yeah.
Holy cow, you can earn premiums.
IS2, yeah.
Yep, but you have to be number 1 or 2 or 3. So the person who kills the most German tanks as USSR or as Vasily playing the special tanks is either going to get an IS-2, an object, or a Churchill for the 1 mission, or IS-2M, T-3045, or Matilda. That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
They put the better tanks with the one that has the premiums required.
Yeah. So,
well,
but yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're not all premiums, but still, holy cow, that's funny. The 2M's an amazing tank. It is.
Yeah, it is. I like it, to be honest.
And we'll actually get to that in just a minute when we start to shill, because we went to missions first instead of shilling.
We did.
All right, so there you go. That's what's going on with that. What else did we have here, Pilgrim? We're in the breather phase of 10th Anniversary Act 2. Take a knee, folks. Oh, man, that's probably not the best imagery I just gave based on what's going on. See how people just ruin all my jokes? The world just ruins my jokes.
Yeah. Do you know what? It is something that is of a concern, but it's not what you want on your channel, is it? You don't need to do politics and religion on your channel, so there you go. No. Don't worry about it.
I'm just trying to, anyway. It's hard. Can I just say sometimes it's hard to know what you can say these days? It really is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I...
Yeah. Yeah.
See, something just came out of my mouth that is said over yonder. Cheeky, and there's a word after it. And I just went, well, I can't even say that.
No.
Because that's, oh my gosh.
No.
All right.
No. I mean, it is a bit of a tangent, but to be honest, it's people of our age group, your age group, my age group, which have a defined sense of humour, which comes from all that sort of stuff. And then people of today's age group, not everybody, but some people will take offence at that. And it's not meant in any offensive way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm certainly not offensive, to anybody. I mean, everybody has a right to a life. Everybody has a right to... Well, let's not go all the way down that road. But at the end of the day, you can say something just like that and you go, oh, crikey, what have I said? Crikey.
All right. And it goes back to what we were discussing about Watson X. I mean, it's just a big...
Yeah.
All right, let's stick with tanks. Tanks.
Yes, please.
Where were we on this? I think we've talked about everything I wanted to talk about here. And the good news is we can really insult people by shilling. Because that really sets people off, and it's so much fun. I think we've talked about everything we want to talk about. We'll get into the UI and see if we missed any stuff. So
we've done all the news. I mean, there's no point going on about Sandbox. That was last week and so on. So.
Premium shop. So there's a couple things I wanted to talk about in here with you guys. Number one is on the first page, the Soviet Steel Duet. Both in the UK and here, this is actually a pretty darn good deal.
Yeah.
Because on mine, $54.99, and I can apply a coupon to it, and I can get it down to $49.49. For $50, you can get a Tier 8 IS-3A, which is a pretty good tank, and a Tier 8 IS-3M, which is a really good Tier 7 heavy tank, for the price of basically one Tier 8.
Well, yeah, and it works out with. I've got a coupon on it as well. It works out at £38.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is cheap as chips.
it is. So I'm not sad to shill a little bit for that, because I looked at it for just the IS3A, which I think is down here somewhere. Where'd it go? For just the IS3A in the US, it's $53.99. So for $1 more, you can get an IS2M with it. So please do not buy just the IS3A. If you want an IS3A, buy the Duo, and then you'll get the gold. Oh, by the way, difference, I believe. Well, I'm sorry, if you own the tank. What I was going to say is, say you own one of those and you didn't want, say you own the IS2M, and you're like, well, I don't need an IS2M. Well, still buy that package, because for $1 more, you're getting the gold for the IS2M.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to get to that.
It did, didn't it?
It did. It took way too
But
long.
that's okay. I mean, it's early morning for you, isn't it? I mean, I'm sort of mid-afternoon, so I'm
is.
compass mentis me, but you're just hanging in there, aren't you?
I'm starting to ramp up, though, because I'm about halfway through my second cup.
Your second cup of coffee.
I can feel it. I'm getting a little twitchy over it.
See, you don't get twitchy with tea. You should stick with tea. Pay your taxes and buy some tea from the United Kingdom. You'll be fine.
Okay. See, we just can't have a nice conversation these days. There's always a rat. There's always a rabble rouser.
I can't forgive you guys for Boston Harbour. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to throw precious commodity into the sea just because you don't like paying taxes, well, you know what?
We do have a history of things like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
you're rebels, all of you, aren't you?
We are. The whole place is a bunch of rebels, as shown today. All right. Sturb is back. The Su 85i is back. The Primo Victoria. All right. So we wanted to talk about the 3D styles, because Pilgrim and I were looking at this and just sort of comparing prices, and we found a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So on my page, for two of the Tier 8, the Pike and the Safari, those are $11.99, and on Pilgrim's side,
£9.23.
Okay, so that's the same. Then I go over to the Altai Fox, which is also a Tier 8, by the way. For me, it's $14.99, and how much is it for you?
£15.39.
Okay, so right off the bat, we have
£15.39.
We have a different price for Tier 8 modeling. Interesting. Okay, and then for me, the Tier 10 Java Rhino is $19.99, and how much is it for you?
£15.39.
The same price.
Yeah.
So
now that's being a little bit naughty.
That
isn't it? They're a bit naughty.
That's naughty. That is naughty. You naughty marketers. What are you trying to pull?
It may well be a glitch, in all fairness. It may well be a glitch. Yeah. But it's the same price for the Tier 10 and the Tier 8 on my screen, which is naughty.
I think their pricing on their 3D styles is naughty, but I don't know. That has to be a massive. I don't know, man. But it's very strange, because it's two Tier 8s, and that's what it seems to be. The pricing seems to be by tier. I don't think a Tier 6 model is any harder necessarily to make than a Tier 10 model. Really?
I imagine the code is pretty much the same.
You're building 3D equipment, so they price it by a tiering aspect, and I kind of understand that. That's how they do their premiums and all that kind of thing. So it makes sense. But you've got two Tier 8s at 11 at a price point of $12, and then we have a Tier 8 at a price point of 15, and one at 20. Yet over across the pond there, the Tier 10 is the same price as the higher priced Tier 8. It's just very strange.
See, well, also you've got higher priced Tier 8 because that tank is probably more popular, so therefore that's why they priced it up, or is it the other way around? If it's not so popular, it gets a higher price.
I don't know. It's a good question. I was looking at those three. I'm like, I think you'd be hard pressed to find. I bet they've sold a lot of Progettos. They have to have sold more Progettos than Su-130 PMs. That's my guess.
Yeah, the RU server is flush with Progettos, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my guess. So I don't have a guess for why the pricing is like that. That's why I always mention it, because it seems so arbitrary.
Yeah.
But I bet it's not. Somebody in marketing is crunching numbers. There's a reason for that to happen. There's big brains in marketing who think about these things and figure these things out. But I'm always interested. I always wish I could be the fly on the wall and understand why.
Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting to see how it's all? Yeah. I mean, how do you price pixels? That's the point, isn't it?
Right.
There's nothing physical about this, is there? There's like.
Well, I mean, you gotta track the supply chain. So the pixel mines in Africa, and of course, is the overland to the port. You got to pile.
Are we doing this? Are we doing this? Are we really doing this?
I mean, you got to pile that ship full of pixels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. Pixels just don't organize themselves.
Right. So there's physical interaction with pixels to make them work.
You got to mine them. You got to
Yeah. Ship them. Yeah. Package them. You got to feed and water them on the way. You can't just have. You can't.
Do they eat? I didn't know they ate.
Well, electrons possibly.
Is that why my internet bill is so damn expensive?
Yeah, absolutely. You're eating too many electrons. You just need to cut it down a bit. You can get Slim Fast. That'll help you out.
Supporting too many pixels. All right, let's move on. We killed that joke. It was dead on arrival, but we killed it more. All right, gold. Nothing really there. It's all the standard stuff. So we'll just move on. Premium count is also the same. Vehicles wise, very similar to the featured stuff. I didn't see anything else interesting in there. The Primo Victoria is pretty good. /Sturv 81 is the same tank. The IS-2M, as I mentioned, is one of the better Tier 7 premiums. It is quite a good tank. Derpy gun, so as long as you're okay with derpy Russian guns. It's got a slightly different armor layout on it with some spaced armor that works a lot better than the other two IS-2 variants, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Su-85 is a low-tier TD, if that's your thing. The ISU 152K we didn't talk about yet this week, but it's still out there. I don't know if it was on sale last weekend. Do you remember? I think it started Monday or Tuesday, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was Monday, but it's now the feature on the EU server, so they're pushing that hard on the EU server. So and also the Chieftain X, they're pushing that, the Action X.
So this was kind of a weird rollout. I don't know if you remember, but I kind of went on record and said maybe it's tied to the anniversary stuff, which clearly it wasn't, other than the fact that it came out during the anniversary. But there were no missions for it. There was no real hullabaloo. It was just, we kind of heard rumors about an ISU 152 with the old BL10 coming back, maybe a few months back, 3 or 4 months, and then they percolated. And then they handed it to the CCs, and then they just released it.
Yeah. It was almost like apologetic. It was almost as if they're going, "Well, look, we're sorry, but we're going to put this out here." And let's just not say anything about it and just put it there.
It goes back to the marketing. It goes back to the marketing conversation we had. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, there are reasons. There must be some form of data capture that goes into marketing. They go, okay, this is what we're going to try and do. What's the model look like? This is the modeling. This is how we perceive it's going to produce X amount of dollars or whatever it is, and then they go and do it. I don't know.
For me, it's also just like the BL10 was the gun that was on it. They took it off for balance reasons. Now they threw it back on and they sold it. And
cynicism coming in here.
It is cynicism, but I'm still kind of blown away that it just sort of, they just like come up, they just threw it up and like it was a hairball in the back of their throat. You know what I mean? It was a tickle. It was a bat. They're like, I wish we wouldn't have taken out the BL10. That was maybe not a good idea. And they're like, they just hurled it up.
Yeah.
There was, like I said, there was no hullabaloo. There was no lead up to it. There was no. It just showed up. Out of the mists of time. Here comes the BL10 152K.
The thing is they pushed it onto the NA server first last week. Made it like the top thing to get from the shop.
Mm-hmm.
And then this week they put it onto the EU server. So maybe the NA server was a test bed to see how well it was received before they pushed it out onto what is technically a big player base.
I don't know what they would learn from the NA server as far as negative feedback or whatever. They don't listen to the server anyway. So what you know?
No, I think they look at. We've discussed this before. That I think they look at the NA server as per capita per head, as a bigger spending profile than Europe. You know.
Oh, so you're thinking they can extrapolate some sales information and see? I mean, I think they're going to release it everywhere anyway. But yeah, you might be right. It could be just to test balloon to see what's going on. I don't see them flooding the game, and they're not overpowered.
No, I think people have realised that it might have a big gun, but it's not. It's not what it used to be.
Yeah, the meta's kind of moved on, but still, it's another high alpha TD sitting in a bush in the back, which we have plenty of. Yeah, exactly. It's another one thrown out there. So I think you would probably play that before you ever played the ISU 152 anymore. That's the problem with these kinds of things. Yeah. There's really there's some accuracy losses. I think some speed losses, as I remember from my review. But there's not much reason other than grinding through to play the old ISU. Anyway, enough of that stuff.
I remember that grind. It was the TD to grind too. That was what you wanted. You know, it wasn't it. It's no longer that.
Years and years ago, it was the 704 because when Tier 9 was the top TD, the 704 was an absolute beast. Because it was the only thing really dropping 750 alpha on people. I guess maybe the E100 was out. I don't remember at the time, but still, it was a Tier 9 that was dropping 750, and it had much better gun handling than the ISU did, and was more mobile with semi-usable armor. But that's long past. All right, some other packages and things you can dig through. We've still got all these starter packs and these big packages that I've talked about before, so to speak. Specials. What do we got? Same stuff, guys. Really nothing else to talk about. There are a lot of good tanks on sale. I will say that. Sometimes it's kind of a pause in good tanks. But, I mean, you got the Super. You've got the IS-6, which is decent. The Primo. The ISU 152K with the big gun. The IS-2M. The IS-3A. So, holy cow, there's a lot of good premiums if you're in the market for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm all shilled out. How about you?
Yeah, I've only got one more thing, which is a complete tangent. But if they've got a shop where you can buy stuff, you know, and if you go to the World of Tanks shop at the moment, the Wargaming store, they've got a massive sale on for D-Day. So if you want a T-shirt or if you want a mug or or anything else that they're actually selling, there are discounts up to 50%. So. If you're into that and you want to wear a T-shirt with World of Tanks on it and so on, it's worth having a look.
Oh, well,
$6 for a T-shirt, you can't go wrong.
Cool. Are they shipping through Amazon? What are the details?
I don't know. I've never bought anything, and I can't really. I'm on the site at the moment. I'm trying to find.
It's such a great deal. Pilgrim has never bought anything from it.
Yeah. No, I bought all my stuff from your site, Guido.
Oh yes.
Mug. T-shirt.
Yeah, I see that. All right, cool.
All right, that's me.
Let's go to the UI, man. Let's go to the UI and see if there's anything else to glean from the missions. Got to make my Chrome go away. So we go into missions. Oh, by the way, you guys saw that the whole time. The Java. I didn't realize this. I'm gonna go back to my garage real quick. I have the Java and Rhino. I didn't realize that for the AMX50B, and that's what it looks like, folks. Got a very strange that they've got these like fold-out chairs strapped to the side. A little bit of camo on top and an extra machine gun. Actually, that's a recoilless rifle, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Yeah, it looks it.
Yeah, this is a recoilless rifle on top of that bad boy. That's pretty cool. All right, so missions. I don't think there's much else to say, and we're going to take a quick look at how these work. Breather phase is the ticket thing. How do I find out how many tickets I have? What are you at ticket-wise? Do you know?
Do you know what? 20, I think. No, I haven't.
No. Where was that? There was a place.
Let me have a look.
There was a place where you
1,120 at the moment.
Where'd you find that?
I go back to the garage, and it's on the right hand side.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. That great bit. 1,185.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's just doing the game. I'm not particularly trying to. Yeah.
These have been pretty easy to get the max points out of. Oh my UI has gone crazy.
Okay, well we're on weekend missions anyway.
There we go.
As always, weekend.
Medium tank courses. We won't look at that stuff. That's the standard stuff. Experience weekend bonus. You can get the Overlord one with the kits once. That's that 30,000 we talked about.
Yeah.
It's vehicles destroyed. It's be above among the top 10. I don't think there's a win requirement. There doesn't appear to be. That's a good thing. And then you can get those 3 camos, Western Front. You can get a lot of camo these days, guys, with these missions, man. Pretty good stuff. Watt Salute ongoing. That's the ID me thing. Tanks and metals damage, capture, and block.
Yeah.
Tanks and metals damage, capture, and block. And these are all the different things. Oh, this is separate from... Oh, that's right. This is completely separate from tanks and aces. I forgot about that. The tanks and metals deal, where you get high caliber invader or steel wall, you can get some experience and then tokens, and then depending on how many of those you get, there are more goodies that you can see down here. So, for example,
you start to play a battle and so on. I mean, you don't have to do anything specific apart from the first 3.
Well, I'm looking at tanks and metals, damage, capture, and block, and these are for doing only 3 things: high caliber, invader, or steel wall.
Yeah.
And I have done 5 total, it looks like, which has tripped the... Oh, you only need 4 to get Wind Metals 2, and Wind Metals 3, which gives me some personal reserves, requires 6, so I need 1 more medal. So anyway, what's the top? Wind Metals 6. So how many of these do I need? I need a total of only 12 of those medals. And I have till 1 July to do that, to get all those goodies. So that's actually fairly reasonable, I'd say.
Well, it is. Yeah, you look at it, I mean, it's ×5 food, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
it's
a lot of stuff in there.
More free giveaway from Wargame. Thank you.
And that's just going to happen because those are medals you get along the course. Here's Tanks and Aces with a Vasily. So that's where you can track all that stuff. Destroy an enemy vehicle, play a battle, yada yada.
I've got my German tank one done. That's it at the moment.
You've done your German tank one?
I've done my German tank one.
Really?
I just went out and hunted German tanks.
So that's who's been killing all the German tanks.
I just ignore everybody else and killing Tiger ones. It's the way to do it.
You say you finished it?
Well, it's complete. The Destroy German Tanks is complete.
You've killed?
Oh no, sorry, German Tanks 1.
Okay.
Complete.
Okay.
Sorry.
Holy crap! That's where I am. I'm on 1, I think. No, actually, I haven't even done that. I'm just bad. I need 2 more German
Well, you
tanks.
just don't like killing German tanks. You've got, you
right.
keep going for the Soviets.
Starry Night, that's ongoing. Tank rewards, ongoing. And I think that's everything. That is everything we wanted to talk about right there. All right, we're getting close, folks. We are getting close to giving away the tanks. We're going to move on to subjects du jour. All right, I got my coffee recharged here, Pilgrim. Are you good on tea there?
Tea's full.
Subjects du jour. Pilgrim just reminded me. We just went through this, trying to dope this out for you. I guess the Polish are going to get a new kind of half, slightly more than half, medium line.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a tier 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 with a tier 8 premium medium. Kind of, well, the first ones I don't see pictures of yet. It might be in the video. But the 8, 9, and 10 are kind of Soviet-esque modifications of Soviet tanks. Hover mediums with different turrets. But here's what we were discussing, because we dug, and I've got it right here in front of me. First, let me call up what they're called here. This is off the Daily Bounce Harkonnen's blog. Shout out to him, one of the CCs. A DSPZINs 1, a Bug 1. That's awesome. Did you? Or is that a Bug Eye?
I'm driving the Bug.
The Bug Eye, the Buggy.
Yeah, the Buggy.
Hopefully it doesn't have problems with the
no
model.
wheels.
Hopefully it doesn't have a problem with the model. The tier 7, which is CS44.
Yeah.
Is that where it starts looking Soviet?
Yeah, I think the CS44 is the CS
designation
part of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that is giving it a Russian look.
So then the tier 8 is where the premium's going to live. So the 53 and the 52, more details soon. So I guess the 52 is the premium. The CS59 and then the CS63, I guess those are year designations, is be my guess.
Yeah.
So they split off at Tier 5, which is going to put that line, and you can't see. Let me get rid of this Chrome so I can show everybody what I'm doing here on the tech tree. It's going to split off from Tier 4, I assume.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be a Tier 5, 6, so it's going to be right next here. But here's the goofy thing. The 25 TP and the 40 TP are designated as mediums, and they're now stuck on the heavy line.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to change, because right now it requires changing crew quite a bit on the Polish line.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll redesignate them as heavies just to make that easier.
And then you can run your crew right the way through to the tier 10. Yeah, that would make sense, because then your medium line would run its own line of whatever crew setup it's got.
Yeah, it'll be slightly less annoying than otherwise. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that, but they're on the way. And once I get, my assumption is, provided I'm still a CC at the time, I should get that premium when it gets close and get you guys a review on that thing.
Did you see that little bit about the tier 10? It says a tier 10 project with unusual engine mechanics. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's in the video. I'm trying to recall. There's another special, maybe a boost or something. I don't remember what it was. There's something.
Okay.
There's something to do. There's a new mechanic coming with them, because they always have to have a new mechanic. They can't just make a new tank. It's always
Absolutely.
So it's got to have super boost, or it's got twin flamethrowers coming out the back. I don't know.
Yeah. Just as a tangent about Polish tanks and stuff.
All right, you're not going to tell a Polish joke, are you?
No, not at all. No, not at all. No. What did you take me for, sir? The first time I entered Poland in my military service, and it wasn't because we invaded Poland or anything like that. I was asked to set up a distribution outlet at a place called Prenzlau. And when we first entered into Poland, and you guys have got it in the Midwest, this whole big earth view is typical Polish territory from Germany to Poland.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Prenzlau is on the border, and you drive across, and basically you go back in the day, it's different now. You went from tarmac road through the border to cobbles, okay? Because in the Soviet area they didn't upgrade anything. So you went to cobbles, but the big thing about Poland is it's pure tank country up north. Northern Poland is pure tank country, and the plains stretch as far as the eye can see, and it is an absolute wondrous thing to see. When the sun's shining, you can just see forever and ever and ever. And you can imagine tank battles going across there. Whole squadrons of tanks just giving it some. Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely
big sky country. It's what I miss about living out west. Now that I live down here in Florida, because of the humidity and the trees and things, you rarely do. And plus, there's almost always low cloud around here. When I go back home to the west, out to Utah, Montana is actually called Big Sky Country. Same idea.
Right.
You just it feels like you're just in a bigger place.
Yeah. And for me, it makes me just jaw drop. Wow.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see. And because I live on a little tiny island, which is crammed with 69 million people, and we have our nice places like the Lake District in Scotland and places like that. But to go somewhere like that where it's just the world in front of you, it's amazing. Anyway, sorry, I just thought I'd throw that in.
No, that's great, because every time I get off the plane when I go back home, I feel like I can stretch. Like, I feel like I'm not...
Because we're all tiny little hobbits, and you're quite tall anyway, so... You have to duck down to get into the houses, don't you?
You're all little people. You're all little...
Oh dear.
Crazy little...
Right, where were we?
All right, man. We're coming up on the contest, I think. We're pretty soon, but you've also, I think, got a Bosnia story for us. Is that right?
Right. Okay, well, I'll just throw this out there. There's the Belarus flag.
Excellent.
Cheers to Minsk, because we've got all glory here, as always. But this week is Minsk, and because you guys and our guys made a free Europe at the end of the Second World War, which is D-Day weekend. So I thought it was... I did play around with which flags to put up here, but I thought, you know what? We'll put Belarus up there because it's part of Europe that was made free by the sacrifice of many, many veterans.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
there we go. Anyway, that's that. Yeah, I got your Bosnia story here. You go. Well, I was a colour sergeant in Bosnia, and I was fined £100 by my commanding officer. Right, and the story behind it was like I was marched in, and basically my CO said, "Right, Colour, for your actions, I am going to fine you £100, which you could pay into the coffee fund, basically." So, because I was a bit naughty, we had a dog. Right, we were out in Bosnia. We'd adopted a stray dog, as you do. You know, it's things that you do. Right, British people love dogs, as you know, and you've got your Maka. So we adopted a dog, and it was a stray dog. So we fed it, watered it, washed it, and it lived in one of the warriors. And it was part of the troop, you know. It's part of the, you know, we even give it a rank. It was a lance corporal, which really pissed off a lot of the soldiers because they were all private soldiers. So he got preferential treatment. The dog got better food. No. Anyway, so at one point we were at a place called the Conchar Factory, which we were holed up. It was an engineering place. They used to do they used to do engines for the ships in there for the Navy when they had a Navy, Croatia and all that. So we were there for about 2 weeks. At some point overnight, one of the civilian, let's call them staff that worked in there, painted a big UN on the side of our dog, big United Nations sign on the side of our dog.
Wait a minute, on the dog?
On the dog.
On the animal,
yeah.
Okay.
On the animal.
Painted UN.
Because they thought it'd be funny. So I took it upon myself to then go round to the where these workmen were. I mean, don't forget, I'm on to the teeth. I've got my L85A1. I've got everything. You know, I'm bombed up to hell. And I walked in and I said, "Who painted the dog?" So I'm holding my rifle. Who painted the dog? Not a whisper. Who painted the dog? I want to know who painted the dog. It's one of you people here painted the dog on the night shift. And this grinning buffoon went and put his hand up. So I stuck my rifle straight in his nose and said, "Go and wash my dog or I'll blow your effing head off." Needless to say, he washed the dog but then complained to my CO, so I got marched in to my commanding officer, who said, "You can't go around threatening civilians and sticking rifles in their faces." I said, "Sir, they painted my dog." And he went, "Oh, that's a fair one, but £100 fine for the coffee fund. Now get out."
What was the dog's name?
We called it One Leg.
One Leg?
I don't know why we called it One Leg. It had 4 legs, don't get me wrong, but they called it One Leg. One Leg, the UNPROFOR dog.
The what dog?
The UNPROFOR, the United Nations Protection Force, which is what we were under when we went there. Which is quite funny, because that leads on to another story, if you want it. Is basically
we're going to get that.
Oh, sorry, go on.
So that dog's name is One Leg.
One Leg, yeah. You had 4.
Not Unleg or Own Leg or anything. Because,
no, One Leg.
Yeah.
I don't. Somebody named it, you know.
I'm getting there.
I'm
getting to my point. What did you call my dog?
Maka.
Maka. I'm in England probably 8-10 years ago.
Right.
We're in a coffee shop, and I'm an American, you may have noticed.
Really?
I have an American accent. You may have noticed that as well. I walk into the British coffee shop, and I'm looking for a coffee, a certain kind of coffee that I prefer. Okay. And I walk up to the young lady at the counter, and she says something like, "Can I help you, sir?" You know, I can't do the accent, but that's what she said. And I said, okay. I'll have I think I'd like a mocha.
A what?
Right? So she gives me the RCA dog like, "Excuse me? Yeah, just one mocha." "Do you mean a maca?"
Yeah!
And I said, "No, I don't want a maca. I want a mocha."
You ain't getting a mocha in this country, mate.
You're getting a maca, which... I don't think it's even pronounced that in Italy, is it?
Do you know what? I'm not Italian, so I couldn't tell you, but hey.
That's a running joke to me and my RA.
No, you see why tea's better, because it's just called tea. You don't even have to name it. You just say tea. You don't do that. Coffee.
Slight more tangent before you get to your story. So that's a running joke between me and my RAF buddy. And, you know, he's like, hey, do you want to get...
So do you call it a Mocha then?
Yeah, Mocha. It's a
so
Mocha.
when you take her out for a walk and she runs off, you're shouting, Mocha!
I yell
And people
Mocha,
go, no, you can't get a coffee here, mate.
Well, I mean, it's a Great Pyrenees. It wouldn't matter if I called it Shizzle Bedizzle. She's not coming back. She's not coming back.
She ain't coming back. She's like, nah, whatever.
Mocha, Maka, Gary, it doesn't matter. The dog's not coming back.
Hey, dog!
She got out the other day. I was doing something out in the yard. I went out the screen door, and it will close on its own, but it's got a whatever on it that slows it down. One of those things. And
one of those things.
And if I'm not watching, I went because I was going over to help my neighbor who something in her yard had broken. She had water coming out of the sprinkler system, so I'm over there. Well, the dog had snuck out right behind me. I didn't notice it. And it was about 30 minutes before I got back and looking for Maka, and I cannot find Maka or Mocha or Gary. No, the dog is not there. And as she was not a one leg and had four legs, she hauls ass down towards the water. So we start looking around, and we go by this house, and this guy's sitting out in front, and we're like, "Hey, did you see a white dog?" He goes like, "Oh yeah, big white dog." I'm like, "Oh yeah." He's like, she was going full speed straight for the water. He's like, I saw her. She was hauling ass down the road towards the water.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Like, yep,
I mean, you've got to think about it. I mean, you know, it's quite high temperature down there, so with all that fur, dogs are going to get warm and hot.
This is the thing; she won't get in. She just wants to go down and smell and mess around. She wants to be near it. But as she's a mountain dog, a Great Pyrenees, they're not big on getting wet because that's bad when it's, you know, up in the mountains and cold. They just kind of avoid that. Getting soaked. Their fur isn't really made for that kind of thing. So she'll go there, and she wants all the smells and what's going on down there. She'll chase frogs and do all that crap, but she didn't want to get in it, which is crazy. Anyway, all right, Bosnia. What happened in Bosnia?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, that led on to another story just very quickly about United Nations. When we first got there, we were the first... designated UN troops to go out there to provide protection for the convoys going into Bosnia. And at the time we had the Warriors. We had the similar to the Bradleys that you guys have got. So we had the Warriors, but they weren't painted. They were camouflage. So the United Nations missionary, or what do they call them, decided to come around and inspect and do all the good things because we were representing the UN. And they complained that we hadn't painted our vehicles white and put a big blue UN on the side. Yeah. So we had to paint them white and put a great big United Nations sign on the side of the Warriors.
I think that's a Warrior right there.
Yeah, very similar to that. There you go. Yeah, 30mm rod and cannon. Yep. You've got 3 crew. You've got commander, gunner, and a driver.
Roughly,
and then it can take up to
slightly smaller than a Bradley, but not much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic armoured fighting vehicle for what it is.
Yeah.
So that big blue UN, and I've got pictures which I've sent you some, but I think I've only sent you ones of camouflage. Anyway, became a aiming point for the various Serbian snipers out there. So, yeah, exactly. We were travelling on Route Acorn, and you'd be inside it, you'd hear, bing! You go, oh, here we go, right? No so you're... Yeah, bing, coming off the side of the armour and everything. Don't forget we had Chobham on there as well, so nothing was penetrating it anyway. So
obviously you're not allowed to fire back. You just kind of took it, huh?
Oh well, this is the story. I was in a convoy of 3. We were rolling up to provide force protection for the food aid convoy that was going through, and we had gate guardians basically. So at various points on Route Acorn, we had Warriors just sat there, and one of those Warriors radioed in. We had the pings on, bing, well, yeah, whatever, and then one of the radios in, it gave us a location from where it was coming from. 3 Warriors turned their 30mm rod and cannons to that location and gave a quick old burst out. We never got shot at again. That was useful. I think they got the message.
Yeah, a little dissuasion to.
We weren't allowed to, but we did. Yeah.
So you
rules of engagement.
You actually don't have to shoot at people sometimes. When we during the invasion, we roll up. I'm with the Marines, and we're doing I'm with the tearaway. I'm the second piece. The standard thing, as you move a headquarters, you'll send a forward element and they'll establish it again. They'll take command, and then the rest of them, all the rear and the gear will show up. So I was with the forward guys, and I was the second iteration. The first one was the security team and just the very basics, and then the air element, a couple others, and I was with them that would go forward. So we show up, and for some reason the Marines loved living in garbage dumps because it had a lot of stuff to stack up into berms. It was the weirdest thing. We stayed in like 3 dumps. It was just strange. So anyway, they built up the berms, and we show up, and I walk up to the guy that's there. And I'm like, hey, what, you guys see anything? Because it was right outside of An Nazariya as the 507th was getting shot up. We were building that as we came in to support them and try to figure out what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
But we get there, and I'm like, hey, you guys see anything? He was like, oh, yeah, BMP came out down the road down there. I'm like, holy crap, what happened? He's like, he sort of came out and shot a few times and then took off. I'm like, well, did you guys return fire or something? He's like, no, I think he just saw that Abrams sitting right there. And I look over, I'm like, oh, yeah, there is an Abrams sitting there. I'm like, well, how come the Abrams didn't take him? He's like, oh, that thing, we abandoned that because it's broken down. There was nobody in it.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
The other part of that story is the Marine dude was like, I saw the BMP, so I went up on the berm to get a better look at it, and then he started shooting at me, and I thought, this is a really bad idea.
This could hurt.
He's like, oh, check that BMP out, and he's like,
yeah, absolutely,
hey,
could hurt.
He's firing at me. Maybe I shouldn't be on top of the berm.
What's all that about? Yeah. Do you not know? Do you know who I am?
Well, that's that stuff that when it's early in the conflict, or you're a bunch of fobbits like us, the rear and the gear. People get curious, and you're just not thinking. You're doing stupid things because the guys. The guys up front would have never done that. They'd have just started shooting at it.
No, yeah. I mean, that leads on to a good story. Actually, that leads on to. A guy called Ralph Peters, which you guys over there will know quite well, I would imagine. A historian and reporter. Yeah. He actually had a quote, which on reflection is probably the reason why wheeled tanks are in World of Tanks, and it's all down to the United States Marine Corps. God bless them, because in the Gulf War, in Desert Storm. They were using, this is the US Marine Corps, were using wheeled vehicles to kill Iraqi T-72 tanks. And I think World of Tanks look at their historians, and they went through all the paperwork, and they went, oh, look at that. We've got wheeled tanks actually killing T-72s. I think we'll put them in the game. So thank you, United States Marine Corps, for putting wheeled tanks in. What? I'm going to get absolutely murdered in the comments now.
What wheeled tank were they using?
I don't know. I didn't dig into it too deeply. It's a quote by Ralph Peters. I'll probably look into it and see what they were using. But I don't know what wheeled tanks were around, or wheeled vehicles were around at the time.
It was an L something, I think. That actually reminds me of the bizarre sight picture headed north of columns of they're not ducks, whatever what the hell were they called that the Marines were driving, and they were amphibs in the middle. In the middle of the desert, and I had it just a second ago. I can't remember what the name of the stupid things were, but just
DKWs or anything like that.
Yeah, they weren't. They were the modern version of a duck. They have a different name. I can't remember what they're called, but they're the amphibs that the Marines had quite a few of them, and that was how they were mobile. And they're all driving north into the middle of the desert with these amphib. But really lightly armored, by the way, vehicles.
Yeah,
it was a surreal picture to see that in the middle of the desert, a bunch of amphibs. Yeah. They did manage.
Where's the water?
They did manage to cross a couple rivers and canals, though. That was.
Oh, okay.
They
found, the Marines were happy.
Yeah, it's like a kid finding a puddle and stomping in the puddle.
Look, we got water. We raison d'entre, isn't it? Raison d'entre of the Marine Corps.
I mean, I actually crossed one of these temporary bridging structures at one point in our Humvee that they had put across. I mean, obviously the Iraqis were dropping bridges and trying to make it difficult, so they actually at one point we crossed what was probably an old river, but was built into a canal with concrete sides and stuff. And it was rather wide, but it wasn't real river wide. So I crossed over an amphibious. bridge thing in the middle of the desert in Iraq at one point. I'm like, this is
amazing. When you think about the couple of things about the desert that absolutely amazed and shocked me when I got there was how cold it is at night, and just how dirty, muddy, and rainy it is when it rains. I mean, it doesn't rain in the desert. You know, we're all kitted out for desert warfare, and it's like, Gordon Bennett, it's freezing in.
Well, did you get any rainstorms right after one of the big dust storms? Did you have
yes, and that just covered the. It's just like quagmire.
It's mud. It just rained mud.
Yeah,
crazy. That was bizarre.
Here's a story about bridges. Now you're on about bridges. I don't know, right? I don't know in the U.S. Army whether the engineers who lay your bridges and build bridges have the same problem. But in the English or the British Army, a lot of engineers lose this finger.
The point, right? Or the end?
Yeah, that finger. No, this one. This right. the one that you scratch your cheek with. One, right? Okay. They lose this finger, and the reason why they lose this finger is because when they do nighttime bridge laying, they have to have the sections of the bridge guided into the correct position so they could slot the bolts in. So, and it's pitch black. So what they do is they put the fingers in the holes, and then But if it overruns, it slices the fingers off. So you've got a lot of bridge building engineers who walk around like this, can't pick the nose or anything else. Crap. So it's one of the ways to actually line up the holes for the bolts. Who would be an engineer? I would never have been an engineer. I like my fingers.
Reminds me.
Anyway,
reminds me of a fighter pilot song that I'll leave alone though. The engineer told me.
Life's so much easier when you're up in the air, isn't it?
All right, man. Well, that was a good tangent. Yeah. I don't think we talked about any tanks other than tangentially in there, but that's fine. Hey, I think we got to do the contest, right?
Yes, let's do this.
Let's do the contest. Here we go. We gotta get a Chrome going, then we're gonna slide over here to the random number generator, the RNG generator.
Are you recording this, or do you want me to? I mean, on paper, do you want me to write things down? You got it all.
I'll write it down because I'm gonna put the names up on the thing for everybody there. Cool. All right. Okay, so let's go with. Should we start with the grand prize first? No, you got to start with the. Start with the
lesser ones.
The lesser ones first. That's right. All right, I got to get the names too here. Hold on. All right, here we go. We got 32, folks. We got 32. You can see I've got min 1, max 32. I'm just going to practice a couple. These are not the winners, so hold on. All right, so we just do this. Okay, so this next one is going to be for the fourth prize, and really fourth and third are the same. So maybe it's 2 third prizes. Let's call it that. All right, the first winner of a Tier 6 premium is number 22, which corresponds to Wayne1313.
Wow, well done, Wayne.
Wayne1313. Your name should be going up there if I get my if I can get my editing act going. All right, the second third prize, the second Tier 6 winner is number 11, which turns out to be it's Blues Traveler. We know him.
Hey, Blues Traveler. Yeah, no Blues Traveler. He's a good guy. Keeps you honest.
Okay, so for the Tier 8 from Wargaming, which we didn't thank earlier, but thanks again, Wargaming, for the Tier 8 and the 2 Tier 6s. All right, this is a Tier 8. Any Tier 8 that's in the shop that isn't a package. All right, just the tank. So any Tier 8 in the shop, when you go to the shop and look at it, that isn't a package. Here we go. The winner is number 21, which is Pirani. We know Pirani.
Hey, Pirani.
Okay, so Pirani was number 21. And then we've got the last one will be, all right, so here's the grand prize.
Grand prize.
A Tier 8, $50 donated to stack up in your name by, all this is from Pilgrim, by the way. A Tier 8 tank, $50 donated in your name by Pilgrim to stack up, and $50 to the charity of your choice. So when I send this note out, if you will please then let us know what the charity of your choice is, and then Pilgrim. A couple things about that. Obviously, it has to be able to be done from England to whatever the charity is. Sure. Generally, that's not a problem, but we will make sure we can do that. If there's some issue with that choice that you have given us, then we will let you know, and you can pick another one. Yeah. Is that fair enough, Pilgrim?
Yeah, no, that's fine. And if you want to donate it all to Stack Up, then you just let me know.
There you go.
I'll do that.
So if you want to just do 100 to Stack Up, you can do that too.
Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go. The grand prize winner is, wow, 26. That is Battlesnake.
Whoa! Well done to Battle Snake. There you go.
Underscore Battle Snake. My pen just worked. Just stopped working. Battle Snake. Underscore.
Do you want to borrow a pen? Yeah.
Wayne 1313, Tier 6. Blues Traveler, Tier 6. Pirani, Tier 8. Battle Snake. Donations in your name and a Tier 8.
Cool.
So I will send that information out to you guys. You'll see this. Either contact me or I should be contacting you. And let me know what it is that you want, because we're going to have to, in the case of the wargaming stuff, I've got to get that information to Domo, and then he'll credit your account. In the case of Pilgrim, he's going to have to purchase that as a gift and make sure that you get it. So we need to make sure we have the right names. So these are all in-game names, so I'm good to go on that. So I'll be able to contact you guys in-game, no problemo. All right, cool, man.
Brilliant.
So Pilgrim, once again, thanks for doing that. It was a great idea. I enjoyed that. We got a lot of good stuff, and I'm gonna have a few videos coming out for the Tier 7 stuff. I played that Tier 5 T-34S shield that I'd mentioned earlier to do the mission, the Vasily mission or whatever, and I had like a 1900 damage game.
Wow.
In like a Tier 5. I don't even know if there was any Tier 6. I don't think there was. And there were three of us that were above 1500.
Well, I think, you know, the whole thing behind all of this, it's sort of borne out that now, and I think it's going to make a more considered play at that level.
Yeah.
If you switch on a little bit more at that level,
yeah.
Tier 4, 5, 6, you're going to get a better game.
And the games can't help but last just a little bit longer, just by the sheer fact that you have to shoot to get rid of more hit points.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean?
All right, cool, man. Well, we have anything else, Pilgrim, or are we done telling stories?
That's me all pilgrimed out. I've not even got a saying for you this time. I was going to say, I've got a few I could say, you know, about. Well, here's one. All right, here's one. All right, here's one before we go, and I think I've already mentioned it to you off camera. Right. Okay. I didn't know this, but things you don't really need to know, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Okay. Excellent.
All right. If you fart consistently for 6 years and 9 months, right? 6 years and 9 months, you produce enough gas to create the same energy as an atomic bomb. So
didn't you do that last week? Did you do that last week, or was it a different fart?
I did, but no, I didn't do it on air. So I think I told you, and you came back with something else. But also, final fact of the day, while you're having a giggle, this flag was created in 2012, which makes it younger than the game of What. What was created when this flag was a Soviet flag and it had the hammer and sickle on it.
That's right.
Wow.
There you go. There you go.
There you go. End of that. I'm done, mate. That's me.
All right. Well, I'm going to go work on some nuclear energy.
Yeah. I'm going to eat some beans.
Oh, man. All right. That's all I've got, guys. Have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good week. Stay out of trouble as best you can. Pilgrim, we'll talk to you later. That's Guido signing out.
Bye, chaps.